and welcome to the Small Business Time Management and Productivity webinar. Really excited to have you here because time management is one of my favorite topics. And today we're really going to talk about how you can get more done in your business, how you can increase your productivity and create more hours for yourself and your family. All right, so let's dive straight in. Actually, I made a mistake. Before we do that, I've been told that webinars work better if you're able to close any other software. It just helps to transmit the audio as it becomes available so you don't hear any interruption in the audio or the video. So if you could please close all of the windows to allow the webinar to do its magic, that'd be great. Now let's begin. So what is the deal with time? Why are we here? Well, as you realize, time in your business is like money, right? As a small business owner, one of your biggest resources is your time and your employees' time, if you have employees. Okay? Today we're going to focus on your time. We can talk about your employees' times and delegation and how to motivate them, but we're not going to do that today. Today we're just going to focus on you and your time. Not managing your time is kind of like throwing money into the trash can. Just like this picture, but you all know that, and that is why we're here. So we're not going to spend a whole bunch of time talking about the importance of time management because I know that you already know it. Next, who am I and why am I qualified to talk about time management? I'm so glad you bring up this question because I love talking about my business. In fact, we're going to be here all night if I start talking about my business. But the long weekend is coming up and we probably don't want to be here all night. So my name is Rigda. I am the founder and CEO of Actionable Business Training. I provide actionable training to business owners, and in the past 6 years I've worked with various entrepreneurs and business experts to really crack this time management process, to understand it so I can grow my business. And that was really valuable to me, especially when the recession hit in 2008. I had to get more out of my time, I had to get more out of my employees' times, and I really just had to get a lot done to make a living in an economy that was suffering. Okay? I think that's all we need to talk about for now. If you want more information about me, you can find me on my website. I'm very accessible. You can find me on Twitter, Actionable Biz. Find me on Facebook, Actionable Business Training, or email me, that's on my email. My email is rigda@actionablebusinesstraining.com. Or you can give me a call at 1-866-734-7886. I'm very accessible. Talk to me anytime. Let me know what's going on in your business. Okay? Now let's move on to the fun stuff. Does everybody have paper and pencil with them? Pencil or pen, it doesn't matter. All I want is for you to have a piece of paper and something to write with. That's really important because we are going to have an exciting and hands-on webinar. You're going to walk out with a system. You're going to own a system. All right? So let's get started. The to-do list. One of my least favorite words when it comes to time management. Why is that? I'll give you 3 reasons. The first of it is most small business owners hate it. The second is to-do lists only talk about the things that you think need to be done in your business. Third, to-do lists do not communicate the importance of your tasks. All right, let's go over them. First of all, nobody likes to-do lists. I have to be honest with you. The only place where I've found to-do lists to be useful is kind of like just, checking things off. When I used to use to-do lists, I used to put like really trivial tasks in them just so I could check something off. That was my whole purpose of the day, to be able to check something off. And I usually found myself spending time on little tasks that really didn't matter, just so I could check something off my list and say, thank goodness I was productive today. I emailed somebody. Yay! But even though I sent an email, all the other tasks on my to-do list were not getting done. And that is the case with so many business owners who use to-do lists. In fact, a lot of my clients, I would say 90% of my clients, used to use to-do lists. And they always come to me and say, I hate to-do lists. Okay? So nobody likes to-do lists, and we're in business to have fun, right? So let's not do something we don't like. That's the first thing that I don't like about to-do lists, is that none of my clients like to-do lists. The second thing, to-do lists only talk about the tasks that you think you need to do. What does this mean? You see, our brain, even though it is very powerful, has a limited amount of things that it can think about in a given amount of time, right? So as you're sitting down to make a to-do list, all the tasks that are most recent, they come up and they get put on the to-do list. The tasks that are not making it to your to-do list are the tasks that are most important in your business. Okay? Write this down. The important tasks, the tasks that sway the long-term sustainability of a business, do not end up in the to-do list because they're not recent, because they're not day-to-day activities. What does this mean? This means that most business owners do not plan or make time for the most important tasks in their businesses. Number one key. Number one reason why most small business owners are stressed out of their minds. Number one reason why business owners do not find time to work on the activities that grow their business. What is that reason? Simply, the activities that grow business are not day-to-day activities like sending an email or answering the phone. They are strategic planning or long-term activities that do not end up in the to-do list because they're not recent. Okay? Third thing about to-do lists. The reason I hate them the most. When you have 20 different items on your to-do list, guess what? What happens? Is there a way for you to tell which one of the 20 items are most important? Is there? No. All of the items are equally important according to your to-do list. Even if one of the items is organizing your file, and the other item is sending a proposal to a corporate client. Are those two items equal priorities? Most likely not. But a to-do list cannot communicate the importance of an item to you. Okay, so what do we do instead? Instead, I want to introduce you to the priority matrix. Now, if you're familiar with Stephen Covey's books and his work, you're probably familiar with the priority matrix. Let me explain it just briefly. The priority matrix divides the stuff you have to do into 4 quadrants. Okay? So if you want to bring up your piece of paper and draw, 2 lines, a vertical line and a horizontal line for me, we'll end up with 4 different quadrants. Okay? On the bottom, as you go from your left to the right, tasks increase in urgency. So as you are moving towards the right, tasks become more urgent. Okay? On the vertical axis, as you move from the bottom to the top, tasks become more important. Okay? So it's kind of like high school. You have the x-axis and the y-axis. Okay? The x-axis in your case is urgency. The y-axis is importance. Okay, so as you move from bottom to top, things become more important. As you move from left to right, things become more urgent. It's very simple. Now, the idea is that we should be able to prioritize all of the things that are on our plate and kind of divide them into 4 different quadrants. Okay, so it's still not the best system. If you have 20 different tasks, it doesn't tell you, which ones 1, 2, 3, 4 until 20. But what it does tell you is which of the tasks are most important, which of the tasks are second most important, which of the tasks can be delegated, and which of the tasks can simply be deleted from your list. You would like that, wouldn't you? To just be able to delete tasks that aren't very important. So let's move on and let's talk about why this priority list is so important, okay? Before we do that, let's take an example. Let's look at a mind map that I made this morning, and I'll tell you a little bit more about mind maps later. But in this mind map, I asked myself a very simple question. I just asked myself, okay, Rigda, what's on your plate? You're kind of running around like a chicken with its head cut off. Now tell me, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? That's the question I asked myself this morning. And I got a couple answers. Here's just 2 of them. One of them is to send project proposal to local colleges. I am partnering up with local colleges, a project I'm so excited about because I'm bringing in fresh marketing talent into my business. I'm offering them real world experiences, and in return, I'm getting access to fresh ideas. It's a project I'm really, really, really excited about. But as a part of this project, I need to send a proposal to the universities. And let me tell you one thing about myself. I cannot write. All right? If I were to write the proposal, it would get rejected. Which is why I do not write proposals. I need to get in touch with my writing guy, my writing genius, my right hand, Bill. Bill knows how to write stuff so that it makes sense to people. Okay? So in order to get this task of sending proposals done, I need to talk to Bill. So contacting Bill is on my to-do list. At the same time, I also need to call my merchant, the person who provides credit card processing and everything on my website. I need to call them about a new project I'm doing. So that's also on my mind map. Okay, so we've got these things on the mind map. Now we move back to the priority matrix and try to figure out which things are most important and which things are most urgent. So I only had 2 things on my mind map. The first was contacting Bill. The second was contacting my merchant. Since I'm launching a new project very soon, contacting my merchant is very urgent, and it's also very important because without the merchant account working, I won't be able to process payments. So this one ends up on this top right corner as being really important and really urgent. Now the task about contacting Bill to write the proposal, it doesn't have a deadline, but it is extremely important in my business to, have access to fresh talent. So that ends up in this quadrant, which is important but not urgent. Now let me tell you something. Notice how this quadrant says do this first, and this quadrant says prioritize this. Guys, this quadrant, the tasks in this quadrant are the tasks that are going to bring you the most money in the long term. These are the tasks that support the growth of your business. So you should be very, very careful and very mindful of what tasks end up here and which of those tasks get done. Because the more of these tasks you can get done, the more you can grow your business and have a sustainable business that grows even while you're on vacation. Okay? So now that you've got a basic idea of how a priority matrix works, let's go and apply this. Let's come back to our mind map, okay? And what I want you to do is, remember I asked you to grab a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil? I want you to create a mind map. Why mind maps? It turns out that our brain is very, very spatial. We think radially. We do not think in lists. And our mind works in associations, which is why a mind map is extremely helpful in kind of clearing your mind and kind of like asking yourself, okay, Rigda, what is on my plate? Tell me. Okay? It lets the big ideas that kind of stay in the back of your mind come to the front. And remember we talked about how these big ideas were the ideas that grow your business? These are the ideas that are hidden in day-to-day activities because you're so soaked in to the day-to-day activities to sustain your business. Okay? So use the mind map because it allows ideas to come to the surface. Now, let's take about 2 minutes, okay? Just 2 minutes. You don't have to write everything down, but I want you to do a simple exercise with me. Go ahead and create a mind map, okay? In the center, you can put the question, what's on my plate, or what do I have to do, or what do I want to do? What can I do to grow my business? Okay? Any of these questions is going to work. Just pick one, put that in the center, and now start jotting things down and start making associations. You don't have to break each and every task down like I did. I only did that because I had a little bit more time and I wanted to show you the next step after you come up with your task mind map, okay? For now, just come up with a high-level project or a high-level task and write those down. But I want to challenge you. Come up with as many as you can in 2 minutes. Go on. I'll see you in 2 minutes. You know, I kind of wish I was like a teacher in high school so I could walk around and see what you guys were writing. But I hope you guys are doing this exercise because it's really important to take action. That's what my whole business is built around. Ready? If you're not done yet, and if you're watching the recording or something, just pause this and, come back once you're done. For now, we'll move on to the next step, which is then to break down your big projects into smaller ones and take those smaller ones and put them in the priority quadrant and have some fun with it, okay? Just pick about 5 of the most important things you see on your mind map and break them down and put them in the priority quadrant. Okay, let's take about a minute and get that done. In case you want to look at the priority matrix again, this is what it looks like. Alright, welcome back. How do you feel? Does it feel great to take all the things that you have in your head and put it on paper? I bet it does. This is one of the favorite exercises. The exercise that most of my clients love because it just helps them clear their mind and just, face the to-do list except it's a lot bigger than the to-do list. It's more like the things I want to do list, okay? All right, so now you have a way of kind of clearing your mind and letting the most important projects kind of come up to the surface. And you also have a way of prioritizing them. What is next? How do you deal with the amount of stuff you have to do every day? You know, as a business owner, you're a highly creative individual. You have ideas coming to you every day. You probably get more than 20, 30 different ideas, new ideas to grow your business every day. What do you do with them? Well, let me tell you one thing. One of the biggest reasons, or one of the biggest challenges in managing your time and being productive as a small business owner is, get this, it is the challenge to focus on a task long enough to get it done. Okay? What do I mean? Most entrepreneurs are kind of controlled by this entrepreneurial bug. It's a bug that bites and tells you to go and try a different project. Ooh, this project looks cool. Let's try this. Wow, this idea. This is it. This is going to be the biggest money maker. I'm going to work on this. Look at that shiny new object. That's it. That is what I'm going to build my dream business on. It is the bug of trying to start too many different things at the same time and of jumping from one project to the other. But let me tell you something. Jumping from one project to the other doesn't make money. Okay? Completed projects make money, not the projects that remain in production. Okay? So your bottom line is directly affected by the number of tasks and projects that you can finish. What does this mean? Your bottom line is directly connected to the amount of focus you can bring to the table. Okay, so let's talk about that focus. How do we focus on a day-to-day basis when we are hit by so many different ideas? Do we just toss the ideas? No, no, and no. All right? Your ideas as a business owner is extremely important. Get that? And number 2, as an entrepreneur, accept the fact that you're a highly creative individual. You get tons of different ideas and you're distracted by ideas. That is normal. I am also distracted by ideas, okay? I can get easily distracted by ideas. So what do? Instead, we learn to manage those ideas, to tap into those ideas so they're helpful, but also maintain focus. It's a fine balance. And that's what helps grow a business. How do you create that fine balance? One of the things you can start doing right now is jotting down your ideas. So what I'm trying to say is, when you have a new idea, don't just jump directly into it. Write down the idea, go back to the project you're trying to finish, and then come back and look at the idea. If the idea still makes sense, it's probably a good idea. All right? So, what you can do is buy a small notebook. You can buy it at the dollar store. It comes very cheap. Put it on the right side of your desk if you're right-handed, or on the left, whichever you prefer. And make sure that every time you're hit by a brand new idea, you're jotting those ideas down. Those ideas are really important in growing your business, but you need to be able to balance it with focus. Jumping from one project to another does not help grow your business, but ideas are also important, so it's very important to be able to manage the flow between focus and new ideas. All right? And a notebook is really helpful in letting you jot down ideas so you don't lose them, while allowing you to focus on what's most important at the moment. Okay? Let's talk a little bit more about focus. What else can you do to focus? Well, I find that with the internet and so many different media, like the social media and everything, it's becoming more and more difficult to maintain focus. Do you feel the same way? Yeah? Okay. So let's talk about this idea of focus and what can we do to maintain focus in this highly connected world where things are changing every minute. I was on Twitter one day and I kind of just had my Twitter page open, the Twitter timeline open in my Chrome browser, and I was browsing something else at the same time. I think I was reading news. And 2 minutes later, I went back to my Twitter timeline and I had 679 tweets, new tweets in 5 or 6 minutes. That is a heck of a lot of messages for 5 minutes. And I don't even have that many people that I follow on Twitter. So the problem is you're getting bombarded by information from you're getting bombarded by information from different sources all the time. And you still have projects to finish. What do? Well, here's what you do. You think of yourself as a palace guard. Think of yourself as somebody who's guarding the Buckingham Palace. What do you do when you have so many different people trying to get into the palace? Well, it's simple. You guard the palace, right? You do not allow unwanted guests to enter. That's the kind of thing I want you to think of when you're dealing with interruptions in your business. Interruptions, by their very definition, are unwanted. So what do? Don't allow them to enter your focus time. Okay, here's the key word. Don't allow them to enter your focus time. Why do I say this? As creative individuals, some of our best ideas come in forms of interruptions, right? And as business owners, it is important for us to accept the new media, to accept Twitter and Facebook. But we don't have to sell our soul to Twitter or Facebook. We can still preserve our focus time. Okay? So what I suggest, and what I've seen to work for most people, is to create time blocks. Create about 60 minutes of time where you can focus on the project at hand. And in those 60 minutes, think of yourself as the palace guard who's going to kind of bounce off all interruptions. Okay? That's pretty easy to do, right? Once you have the 60 minutes of high focus, take about 10-15 minutes to walk around and grab something to eat. That's really important. It's important for you to take care of yourself. Okay? And then you can take care of your email, social media, or whatever it is that you need to take care of. But I want you to understand that the 60 minutes of focus time are sacred. Okay? Those minutes and seconds are spent only on the most important task, and everything else gets bounced back, okay? Interruption is not allowed to enter your focus time, okay? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take about 30 seconds, okay? Pull out a calendar. Doesn't matter if you use your BlackBerry or just a plain old calendar. And if you don't use a calendar yet, just make a note on that piece of paper that you brought. I want you to think of 60 minutes of time on Tuesday, because we're entering the long weekend. I want you to think about 60 minutes that you can use as highly focused time for the most important project on hand. Can you do that for me? Just find about 60 minutes. That's all I ask for. 60 minutes on Tuesday. That's it. Go ahead and find that time for me and let me know if you can commit. Okay? Commit to making that your focus time while all interruption kind of gets bounced back. No interruption is allowed to enter that focus time. Okay? Find those 60 minutes and tell me what project you're going to work on. Better be the most important project on your agenda. Go ahead, take about a minute and let's pen that time. Let's pen in that time and you're going to make things happen. Let's do it. Welcome back. How do you feel? You probably feel great. It feels great to commit to the most important project on your agenda, doesn't it? Of course it does. Now, here's the question I get asked most often. All right, Rigda, I'm ready to commit. I'm going to focus. But what do I do with my emails? I get 20 emails per minute. 60 minutes is 120 emails. What do I do? Here's the solution. You let the 120 emails collect in your inbox. Okay? What does this mean? This means two things. First of all, you always start with a clean inbox. Second thing, you let the 120 emails collect in your inbox. You ignore that ding, ding, or the beep, or that red light that glows on in your BlackBerry telling you that you have an email. Ignore it. 60 minutes, you can do it. In fact, if you guys are suffering from BlackBerry addiction or any other smartphone addiction, like I was, there is a blog post that I have. It kind of highlights what I went through to overcome my BlackBerry addiction and reduce the amount of negative stress caused by my smartphone. If you're interested, go ahead and search that up in my blog or send me an email and I'll send you the link. But the important thing is, even if you're going to keep your BlackBerry, you have to learn to ignore that red light, at least for 60 minutes. Okay? You do not answer emails during your focus time. Now, let's go back to something else that I just said. You always start with a blank email inbox. That means you have to deal with emails. How do you deal with emails? Let's talk about that. My first favorite tool to deal with email is this thing called followupthen.com. Go ahead and write that down. followupthen.com. As you know, the business world is all about relationships, and emails are an excellent way of creating and maintaining business relationships. So, it's important to manage your follow-ups. Now, the problem with email is you don't always have the resources to follow up with a request or a contact right away. And this is when most of the email sins occur. Have you ever emailed a business that never got back to you? Chances are they had the best of intentions at heart, but they simply got buried by email overload. How do you prevent this from happening? How do you make sure that you're replying to your potential clients, your current customers, joint venture partners, or whoever you want to be talking with by email? How do you make sure you keep those relationships alive? Use a follow-up reminder tool, and my favorite is followupthen.com because it is free. There are many other alternatives like followup.cc. I believe they charge you a monthly fee, but I prefer not paying monthly for anything. So I really like this service. It's free and you can send emails securely. And you can also get a list of emails or follow-ups that you need to make. What you do is simply, decide when you want to follow up with an email, and then send that email while you send that email by, and also CC your blind carbon copy, followupthen.com. So if you're following up with, say, me, and you decide, oh, Rigda is not really important right now, I'll get back to her in 24 hours, you can send in your box, you can put 24 hours at followupthen.com, and you can delete that email message you got from me. Or you can archive it if you're using Gmail. And what happens is in 24 hours, Follow-up then will magically send you an email with our conversation attached to remind you to get back to me. Isn't that great? That's an excellent, excellent way of keeping your inbox clean at all times while remembering to follow up. Okay? So their website is followupthen.com. Go ahead and give it a shot. They're free. My next awesome tool that I love about email, the next tool I love about, what's going on with me? I can't talk. Let's try it again. The next awesome email tool that I love is Reportive. Now, have you realized how everybody has a social media profile now? Well, if you want to get somebody's attention, and as you remember, attention is the first step in the sales process. So when you are trying to get a potential client or an existing customer's attention, you can use their social media profile to get a quick overview of what they're up to, and then use that in your email messages. Now, traditionally, it requires that you log on to Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, find the contact, look at what they're up to, and then come back to your Outlook or Gmail and write an email. That's a lot of work. Reportive kind of makes that process easy. What I mean by this is Reportive will try its best. Okay, remember I said it kind of makes that process easy? Well, because Reportive doesn't work for all cases. But in most cases, it will try to find your contacts' social media profiles and pull up their recent public updates. So you can see them right next to your Gmail while you compose a message to them. And guess what? Use that information from the social media platform and put that into your message to let your clients know that you're thinking of them. Now, Reportive doesn't work with Outlook, but there is another software called Zobni. That's inbox spelled backwards, zobni.com. And they have a plugin that works very well with Outlook. That is the one I use personally because I use Outlook for all my emails. What's the next tool you can use? The next tool you can use is make sure if you're using a CRM, that's a customer relationship management software, that you integrate your email and your CRM. Because chances are that you'll be communicating with your customers mostly through your emails. And when you send a communication, you want to make sure that it is tracked. Why do we track emails? Just to make sure that we can serve the customers better. Now, if you're not already using CRMs, and I know this is an aside, but this is extremely important in growing your business, customer relationship management softwares are not as scary as they sound, okay? Especially with Google. Google has this other side called Google Apps for Business, and you can use that as a small business owner. You can sign up for a Google Apps account, and when you sign up for a Google Apps account, you can even let Google manage your emails, which I do, and I find it extremely useful because it takes away all that spam, and it has an amazing spam filtering. And I can access my emails from anywhere, even if I don't have Outlook. But that's not the point. The point is, Google Apps also has a lot of free tools you can use in your business. For example, it has an amazing CRM tool that's completely free. In most cases, CRM tools run from $129 and up per month. Google has connections or apps that are free. Okay, so you can use those in your business. If you don't already have a Google Apps account, look into it. If you're stuck, email me and we can talk about how you can get started using that. We might even schedule another webinar on it. But I would like to hear from you if you're using Google Apps or not. If you're not using it, I would love to show you how you can get the most out of it. And the best part is it's free. Okay? Anyway, we digressed a little bit, but if you're using a CRM software, make sure your email will integrate with it. It will save you so much time and so much hassle. Next thing. Use folders in your email. Okay? Remember how I said you always want to start from a clean inbox? Well, that's not always possible because in a business, you're sometimes waiting to follow up with somebody. You're waiting on somebody to get back to you. You have tasks that you can only complete at home or only complete at the office. Some things are actionable, that they can be done the next time you have some time. Some things are nice to do, but they don't have to be done right away. And some emails are just references. You need to be able to organize all of them, okay? So here's what I want you to do. In your email software, whether you use Outlook or any webmail application, you should be able to create these folders. If you're using a standard webmail application, you have that opportunity available to you, and Outlook is also very good. Even Thunderbird also provides folder systems, okay? You want to create at least these 7 folders. 7 is the magical word. I'm just kidding. Go ahead and note these down, or if you want, just pause the video for now and go ahead and just create those accounts right now. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. I hope you've created those folders. Even if you haven't, just create them very soon and you will have your inbox under control. Now what's next? The next part is to take action. Now we've taken some action together in this webinar, but what I want you to do is start using that system, the system that we've created together. Use that every day. Why? Because all of the strategies that I've shared with you today are tested and proven in small businesses, and I know that they work. But I also know that they will not work unless you take action. Okay? So please go ahead and start applying what you learned today. That's where the fun happens. That's where the exciting stuff happens in your business. That's where the change happens, and that's where the business grows. Okay? Now, before you leave, I have a surprise for you. I am giving away 2 30-minute free time management consultations, and I would like you to win one. So please go over to www.getyoursuccessnow.com/win and let me know a little bit about you so I can enter you in the draw. And we can together spend another 30 minutes talking about time management in your business and how you can create positive changes that last. All right? Go ahead and please let me know. And I would be really excited to learn more about your business. If you have any other questions, just send me an email. My email is rigda@actionablebusinesstraining.com or help@actionablebusinesstraining.com. And my phone number is 1-866-734-7886. Remember, I'm completely accessible and I would love to hear from you. All right, talk to you soon.